All right, good seeing y'all.
Mike, what do you do with, you've not had many teams like this, been such a bad start and trying to
What do I
find
do?
answers to. What do you do in a situation like this to try to get the season back on track?
You know, I addressed that really kind of after the game. Somebody asked that, but, you know, sometimes it's coaching talk, but there's just certain things, in my opinion, in life that you go through and you address them in an honest way and upfront with everybody involved, and you push forward. And, you know, when you talk about our game, the last game, I was very accurate after the game in saying things that happened was we would have 5 or 6 glaring mistakes on both sides of the ball. And right now we don't do a good job of overcoming those mistakes. So we address those issues like anything else you would do in life, like what's happening. If you want something to change, like what happened, why did it happen, what's the solution, and then how do we put a plan in place to fix it and make it better. It's really that simple.
The things that are not happening or the mistakes that are happening, are most of them fixable?
They're fixable. I almost took the word right out of your mouth. They're fixable. So that's the good news, that there are things that we can fix. Now, and what I meant by glaring mistakes, they put us in bad situations, okay, like 2nd and 17 instead of 1st and 10, or 2nd and 25, or we have them in a 1st or 2nd and 20 and we let them back out of the backfield on a wheel, things like that. That can be corrected, and so we've obviously addressed them, and we also share it. It's not all the players. Like, coaches got to do a better job of, now that we've played a few games, we know these guys a little bit better, and so what's the best situation we can put the players that are going to be on the field. So I think it's a two-way street.
Coach, you talked about things to correct, and 2 things very correctable. I'm wondering how high they are on your list. Missed tackles on defense and drop passes on offense.
Well, those are 2 things we need to correct. Is it hot in here, or is it just me every week? A little hot. We got our head down on 4 of the 6 missed tackles. Our head down. Got to keep our head up. We don't teach that. We just need to be under control. Obviously, we need to rep it during the week. And then with some of the drop passes, we got to have vision, got to see the ball in, got to get it caught and get it tucked.
Mike, along the lines of addressing things that are out there, there's a lot of talk about your job status going forward. How do you handle that? How do you address that when players have questions? Is there any of that you guys talk about as a team or individually with players?
I haven't had a player come to me and ask me any of that. So I don't address things. I'm under contract here for, I think, about 3.5 years or 3.4 months. When I was hired here to take this job, ever since that day, I've put my heart and soul into this, and I will continue to do that until at some point, if I say I don't want to do it, or if somebody else says we don't want you to do it. So I don't mind addressing this question. I addressed it after the game, and this will kind of be the last time I address it. But it's a fair question, and the players have never come to me and asked me that. And I think that's maybe because what I've instilled in them from day one. Now, we do have a lot of new players, but I've always talked to them about, you signed up to be a college football player. I signed up to be a college football coach. These are the things that come along with it. Whether we like it or not, it's the way it is. Now, some things might be favorable and rewarding. Some things might be not so favorable and not so rewarding. But either way, that's what we signed up for. And so I think they see that. I think they know that with me. My demeanor, my daily operation, and I'm talking personally, you asked me, never changes. So, like, now I might come in earlier. If we win, I might come in on Sunday at 8:30. We lose, I'm probably in by 5 a.m. just because I feel better doing that. I feel like I'm trying to figure out why and what happened and get a good plan, because I have 150 people in the building waiting for me to give them a response and an answer. And that's the honest answer. So that's the way I was raised, and that's what was instilled in me, and that's what I believe in. I understand the fans want to win. I think that's great. Like, I addressed the crowd. The crowd was awesome last game. Wish we could have played better for them. Wish we could have coached better for them. But as I said, I understand a fair question from you, but it's not about me. It's about the team and about the organization. And that's the way I see it, and it'll always be that way. But I love what I do. I have the exact same amount of energy that I've had from day one doing this. There's still some strategic things that are involved with each team every year based on talent and what's available and certain things. For example, like with the quarterback, we made a little adjustment based on the other guy leaving the game early, the first game. So there's some strategic things that we can do with Zane, and then they were better from a scheme standpoint, and he was better in the last game. So those things are very intriguing to me. We have 4 or 5 things on defense that I addressed earlier that are kind of glaring that we need to clean up if we do that. So if you clean some of those up and you tackle better, it makes a difference. That part I really enjoy. But there's never, ever become a time that I haven't wanted to come to work and pour my heart and soul into what I do for the players. That has never come about.
There's a change in the way college football operates, and some coaches have said, I don't like the new way.
Meaning?
Like NIL, the portal, all that stuff. I mean, prominent coaches. But you don't feel that way. That's from what you just said. Is that right?
Well, I didn't address those specific issues. What I said was, he asked me a question about the stuff concerning me. I addressed the question concerning me, which I would like to. I think it's fair that I address this because it is a fair question. We don't live in a shell here. We get it. But I don't think I have to continue to address this with the way I addressed it. Now, this wasn't something planned. If it was, I'd have brought a piece of paper in here. But the point being is that college football, as we all know, has changed in a very, very dramatic fashion, and it's really not the old college football. This is a paid game, okay? So whether I agree with it or not makes zero difference. It's like being in an argument with your wife and you know you're right. It makes zero difference. You're wrong. You might as well just get over it, give in. Things are going to be much smoother. So I'm just giving you that. At some point in my life, I will address a lot of things. But right now, my responsibility is our team and what I've been hired to do 21 years ago. And I am 100% all in on that. And that's what I will do based on the hand that we've all been dealt.
Equal opportunity. You said some things post-game that, we're riding Flores as a young quarterback. He's going to get better. When you watched the tape from Friday, did you think, Flores did some pretty good things?
Improved. Really excited about him moving and progressing. If we're going to be honest here, whether people like it or not, we didn't put him in a good situation in Oregon. We weren't really sure about a lot of things, and so I felt like our staff put him in a better situation in this last game, and I thought he showed some improvement. I thought he showed toughness. I thought he ran. I thought he protected the ball, and I know for a fact that he had decent vision of the game, and that's going to get better and better. He's going to have more vision a month from now than he will this Saturday, but that's just the way it is.
I said some things about the offensive line and the run game from Oregon that people basically, like they like to say, you're a dumbass, and so forth. But I think this game showed the run game has shown improvement.
So they're improving in that area. We had some glaring mistakes at times up there that would have helped us play better in this last game that we need to get corrected. It wasn't just drop balls and some errant throws. We we had 4 or 5 key busts up front that we need to improve. Some of those we're dealing with guys that are new to playing this game at this level. So there has to be a certain level of patience as we bring the players along. And then that ties in with the coaches trying to put them in the best position. That ties in with having enough to score enough points to potentially win every game that we play.
Your advantage here for so long was Rob Glass and the coaching, right? Rob's development of your guys. By the 3rd year, you had a very specific formula. So now that formula is, if not gone, certainly affected with the roster of people every year, is it just knock a lot of the fun out of it for you? Because you did have that advantage for so long.
Well, it was a big advantage for us. And, Bill, the reason that was an advantage for us is because that's a system that we built. Because when he and I started 21 years ago, that's what I thought we could use to win at Oklahoma State, period. We from day one, I pushed for lots of walk-ons. I wanted to go out and get guys, get them in the program. I felt like he could develop them in 3 years. We'd get a good year and a half or 2 years out of them. They go out in the real world and do well professionally because of this culture, and they're not going to play in the NFL. But it doesn't mean they can't be good college football players. Same thing in high school, right? We see them all the time. We see guys that are great high school players that win a lot of games, but they don't play at our level because they don't have the physical characteristics. So what you're saying is true, but I addressed this earlier, and because I get it a lot too. All right, so I'll get people the text messages, man, you've done this all this time, you don't need this, you don't need that. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Okay, it is still fun for me. So I addressed this after the game. I, thanked the fans for what they did because they were awesome. Somebody asked me, what do you say to them or what will you do? Well, I would do is come cheer like heck for them. And if you want to be angry at Coach Gundy, then you can do whatever you want that makes you feel better, but don't do it to the team because I think that's what's best for Oklahoma State football, Oklahoma State's athletic department, Oklahoma State University in general. I think that's what's best. That's just my opinion.
So do you ever think about, like, when you're just to knock the cobwebs out of your guys' minds, maybe throw them a curveball?
Who's cobwebs? I'm not.
Players. I mean, they're coming off 2 tough games, so, I mean, like, just do something crazy different on a Thursday night. Take them out for pizza and see a movie. There's a pretty good new football movie, by the way. I mean, just something.
Yeah. I've visited with quite a few head coaches over the last 3 or 4 days across the country at different levels, just to talk about practices. How are you guys doing things different with the new scholarship limitations, hours spent, all the stuff that you kind of want to review to make sure that our system here hadn't really changed for like 19 years. We started making some adjustments last year based on certain things, and then obviously more adjustments this year based on roster limits. So you start calling around and asking, you want to double check, maybe we're completely clueless, and you get good ideas and stuff. And there are suggestions for things like that. When I go home at night, I get them from people at my house, and so it's all good. And I don't think that's something off base. But what I believe in is what I had said to Scott's question earlier. They have a job to do. We have a job to do. That's your job. This is my job. And so you're responsible for that. You signed up for it. Now, if you don't want to do it, just like I've shared with the staff, if you want to go hide in your office, get on your phone, get in little cliques like junior high, act like you're upset, you need to go coach somewhere else, because that's not what I believe in. Same thing with the players. Like, we signed up for this, let's go. Okay? Or if you don't want to, then we have to play somebody else. No hard feelings. And that's the way we've addressed it. And I'm sure guys, I just didn't I didn't just crawl out from under the rock. I'm not so naive to think that when you have we got about 90 guys practicing now, because we were under the 105, and then you have injured guys, so about 90 guys. I'm not so naive to think that there could be 6 or 8 guys that when I talk to them as a team, they're going, that guy's full of shit, man. I don't want to hear all that. I mean, that's life, right? You have that where you work. You have that on your neighborhood, right? You have a block party where you grow up, where in your neighborhood there's 3 or 4 people that don't like you because of who you voted for, right? I mean, so that doesn't change. But the general picture is what I'm giving you, and I'm having fun. I still am.
Twofold question. It looked like you got out of the game Friday night pretty healthy. So I know you're not going to maybe get the specifics, but is that a safe
We
statement?
did pretty good. Yeah, we had a couple guys that I was really concerned about and wasn't bad, and we'll find out today. Tonight a little bit, but really tomorrow.
The other part of that is, I don't know if you watch Baylor, Arizona State.
I watched the whole game. I got to watch the whole game.
They talked about the injury reports, which have to come out now for conference games. Baylor was pretty compromised up front, and then they lost Trayvon Barnes to a pretty bad injury, the linebacker.
Yeah, sad deal. 36.
Yeah, that was
Good
tough.
player.
What do you think of Baylor?
They're athletic, very similar to what they have been. They've got long, tall receivers that can make plays. Backs can run. Quarterback's a good player. He throws it around pretty good. He's nifty. I thought they protected really well up front. Defensively, it's what Coach has done. I don't know. He's been in this system for the last 3 or 4 years-ish, and they're doing the same thing. They don't change what they do. It's what he believes in. They're good at it. They're really fast at the second level. They run well. I think the other one in there playing 31. He runs really well. The corners are going to press you, get in your face, and they're going to run with you. And safeties are going to set it at 11 or 12 yards, and they'll mix some coverages. They're going to flat foot. They're going to let those guys go out there and play man. And they're going to sneak that nickel. They fire that guy all the time like they do. They're good at it. Then when they want to pressure you, they're going to pressure you. They're going to cover you down. They're going to stack the mic. They're going to pressure you. They're good in the return game. They've got skill at that position like they've always had. They've been good at punt return. So Baylor's always, I shouldn't say always, but they've generally had fast guys on the perimeter and guys who could run and make plays, and that's what they've got this year.
How about the tight end? Trig is a problem, isn't he?
Yeah, he's he's an agile guy, so it's an advantage for him. They do different things with him, and you got to know where he's at.
Mike, you talked about you hadn't had any players come to you and say what's going on or any of that. We've talked about facilities may not matter as much as they used to. Uniforms don't matter the way they used to. Do you think to a lot of players who the coach is doesn't matter as much as it used to?
I can't speak for them. I know that for the last quite a few years in recruiting or NIL recruiting, whatever we want to call it, I think the coach did matter, just sitting in there and listening to them and families. But I can't speak for them and give that answer anymore. It would be unfair. I will say that it's another good question from the fact that it might be going out the window some. Maybe they're thinking of other things that they would look for versus that.
One reason I ask is, when we ask guys, why don't you come to OSU, almost all of them mention your name.
Mm-hmm.
None of them
You just asked me the question, and even though you knew the answer.
Well, I don't know the answer because none of them say money. They don't ever mention money, even though we know that's a huge piece of the pie now. So in other words,
Do you think that money factors in? It's just you. I'm asking you the question.
I
I'm going to work for.
I think it's a massive thing, but I think that a coach and his reputation or his relationship still matters. I'm just wondering if
that's what I said. I think it does. I'm giving you an answer. I think that it does. Now, the one thing that's changed, Barry, is the relationship part doesn't happen as much because we don't ever see them anymore. Most players are committing before they start their way back in the summer and springs. It didn't used to be that way. For a long time, we'd see them. They'd come here. I'd go on a home visit, and we'd spend time, and then you'd have a relationship. Now, this has taken place way before that even happens. So I don't know if there's really relationships as much anymore as it used to be in the past. My honest opinion is that they still want a reputable coach, and the finances have become a factor. That's my honest opinion.
You had 2 official visitors over the weekend. I know you can't comment on that, but are the high school recruits that come in like on an official visit, do those weekends, are they still similar? Or?
Yeah, very similar, yeah. Yeah, they come in and go through everything. And some players want to come in on a game weekend, some don't. It depends on what they want. So we adjust schedules and work that. And we had good visits and, just keep rolling with it.
How did you think Zane, when y'all went up tempo on Friday, how did you think Zane handled that? And would you like to go faster? Or do you like the mix you have now?
Well, there's different ways to look at that based on how it would benefit us. I thought that he handled things really well, right? It was game 2 for him, okay? And I'm not trying to make him Roger Staubach. What I'm saying is he's much further ahead now than he was in August. And he's further ahead now than he was in Eugene, okay? And the encouraging thing for me is watching him progress. And if he'll continue to have grit and toughness, he loves the game of football. He studies the game of football. He's only going to improve as he goes. So I think it's, I don't read what's out there, but they should be fair to him in his development as a quarterback and just understand that he's going to get better. Okay, that's not something all of a sudden you just show up and you're playing really good.
Would you like the offense to go faster? Do you like the
It
mix
depends.
right now?
There's a variety of things on that, right? Well, the first thing would be depth chart for us, health. Depth chart for them, health. And what Coach Sutton used to say, Coach Eddie Sutton, because there's 3 or 4 of them that coach, but what Coach Sutton used to say is you got to decide who you're playing before you want to know how many trips up and down the floor you want to have. And I think that kind of fits with the question you asked me.
Mike, you talk about quarterback depth and Noah Walters, what he brings to the team, and just his addition to the program.
So he's got experience. He's mature. He's 21 or 2-ish, whatever, and he has played a considerable number of snaps beyond the high school level.
What was he doing at UCF?
Going
They
to
said he
school.
wasn't on the football team.
He's going to school, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's in school.
How did you guys find him? What goes into getting him on the roster as far as compliance goes? Just kind of tell us that story.
I don't know. I know it came out of scouting department, and we said we needed a guy. You would have to ask them. I didn't ask how they found him. Compliance does background checks on whatever, and I don't know what they do on that either. I just told him to let me know if he gets cleared.
So did you correspond, Cale, your brother Cale, was in Italy, all over Europe for a couple of weeks, and one day he's doing a radio report during a moped tour of the mountain area in Italy.
He was doing a radio show where?
He was somewhere in Italy.
In this state when he was in Europe?
Yes, right.
Awesome.
Yeah, several of them, in fact.
I'm working my ass off and getting beat to death by the public and on social media, and you guys are really nice to me, and he's in Europe. Yeah.
But when surely y'all corresponded when he was in Europe, or he texted your.
I did not talk to him.
Really? So you were.
I don't talk to anybody during the season, very seldom.
You don't have the thought.
Well, he might text me. We text, but I don't talk to anybody.
You don't think, damn, that could be me. I could get it out.
Well, I just said it sounded like a pretty good deal. I'm over here getting beat to death by social media, and he's in Europe. But no, I don't have interest in that. I like coaching football. I like what I do. I love the players. So maybe at some point, big plane flights aren't my gig. But I don't. That's not something I want to do. I just don't have. I don't have any interest in that right now.
Did you ever consider Cale as your coordinator when you built him?
I've tried to get him on staff here multiple times.
Really?
He just doesn't have any interest in coaching. You need to ask him that. I don't want to speak for him, but I'm giving you an honest answer. I've had discussions with that, but he's just not. It's not something he's been interested in. I mean, you guys are all together in the media. I call him a media boy too now. So y'all can ask him. He'll give you an answer. That's respectful. I'm not being disrespectful. I just give him a hard time.
Mike, based on everything you're saying today, is it fair to say that you have no interest in this season being your last?
100%. That's a good question. I like that question.
Anything else for Coach?
Mike, you mentioned.
You're making Kevin and Sean nervous. They're afraid they're afraid that crazy sucker. He's going to say something anytime Jenny hadn't said anything.
Robert brought up injury reports, so I was going to give you a chance to tease.
I don't. When does that do, Kevin? Wednesday or something? Give me a name and I'll give you an answer. Who?
Markel Samuel.
No, he won't be available. I told you guys he'd be out a while. Didn't I tell you that? I'm sorry if I didn't. Whenever he got hurt, I said he would be out a while. So,
What are you hearing about Chad Weiberg in that contract situation?
I don't know anything about that.
All they said to me, they being Kyle Ray, actually, says it'll be addressed in due time. Well, what does that
That's just way over my head. That's one thing I don't have to worry about. I don't know anything. I have a good relationship with Chad. I think Chad is good. I think he's very innovative. I think he loves OSU, but all that's way over my head.
You mentioned, with the roster limitations, you mentioned, changes in practice and picking guys' brains to see if there was anything you could pick up. What's the biggest change y'all had to make? And in those conversations, did you learn anything that you're thinking, we're going to try this out going forward?
Yeah, I learned a lot. What I try to do is, I think I've told you guys this over a number of years, I try to talk to people that I think are in a situation similar to what we are at Oklahoma State. So I'm not going to call the head coach of the Buffalo Bills and ask him what they do. And I might not call somebody that may have a different situation than we have here. And I learned a lot. And then what I did learn is that there are coaches that are similar to me that have made some of the adjustments that we have, and maybe sometimes even a little bit more extreme just based on limitations. So I tried to visit with coaches that had been a head coach at least 8 years or longer, which is hard to find. But I was able to find 3 or 4 guys that I trust and have a good relationship with, and I did learn some stuff. But I will tell you this, it's not necessarily reinventing the wheel. A lot of times it's for confirmation.
What's the biggest change or some of the changes y'all have had to make this year?
I think that most of us across the country people I've talked to and here is you have limitations on total amount of practice time. You don't have as many people. So you have to be real careful about the way we used to practice. We practiced here for a long, long time, long hours and hard and stuff. We don't really have those numbers now. So that would be the one thing that would answer your question.
Mike, Bill brought up Chad a second ago. Have you, whether Chad or Reed or whoever, obviously the state of things right now is not the expectation that they have for this program.
Or me.
For you, yeah. Have there
Or
been
the fans. Yeah.
Have there been any conversations with any of them just about the future, what they expect moving forward?
I don't necessarily think that we have to have a conversation. I can honestly say that no, but I think that they share a same vision that I have, and I think maybe the conversation hasn't really had to take place because I've been here for 21 years. And I think they know what's on my mind, and I certainly know. Well, I shouldn't say I know. That would be judgmental. But I probably have a pretty good feel for what they want. So I don't really know that needs to take place. But I guess my answer for that be no at this point.
I don't even know if you have an agent at this point, but have any of them reached out to anybody that might represent you to talk about it?
I haven't had an agent.
Okay.
I haven't had an agent in, I don't know, a year, long time. I don't. Jenny, I've gone for all these years when this other job stuff came up. I didn't even have an agent then. You know what I'm saying? I don't have one.
Okay.
So I mean, I did in 2008, I think, or 9 was the last time I did, maybe. But no, I've just not ever had an agent.
Arizona.
2 more. I'll do your job. Kevin's already lost 6 pounds.
Arizona at 2 o'clock. They say 2 o'clock Oklahoma time, which is noon out there. That's a trip out west that you could get stuck with a late night fly home. Get here at sundown.
So it's game time? I didn't know we had game time.
Noon. It's going to be noon Arizona time, 2 o'clock here, I think.
Okay.
Do you like it when you hear that word, going out west, and you're not going to get a night game or put you getting back home? Sunday morning.
Traveling home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's much easier. Yeah, right. I mean, I will say this.
My question is, are you pleased so far? The new additions out west, it looks like maybe only once so far, BYU last year. You got hit late night. So you feel pretty good about the way the schedules broke on the West Coast?
Yeah, and I think we talked about this maybe a week ago. This is not going to change, right? So conferences are all over the country, and media, television market controls what we do. And we all have to be okay with it. So the additions of those schools has been very beneficial to this league, in my opinion. You guys know that I'm a big fan of the commissioner, and I think that we can tell with the additions that has been really good for us. And so you might get stuck on a game like that. Would we prefer to play earlier so we can then get back? Bill alluded to a little bit of my age and stuff and whatever, but I will admit this. I would prefer to go to bed at noon or 1 in the morning instead of 6 before the next day. It makes a big difference. I can get home and go to bed at 1 in the morning and still get up at 6, and I can function the next day. The other one's a little rough on me. I was good at it in college, not so good now. You like that one, didn't you, Jenny? Yeah. And now you're thinking, me too. I'm pretty good at that too. Anything else?
I got one more.
All right, go ahead.
SEC, big controversy. They said they missed the call on OU trying to run a trick play. Guy.
Yeah, I read about that this morning. I did not see it, but I read about it.
How prevalent is that with coaches trying to, either that particular play, basically fake a substitution, or any other play where you're skirting the rules and you're just hoping the ref doesn't call.
So they've made a big point of that over the last few years because there was quite a bit of it. You remember when we did it against Texas TCU, and the field goal guy and ineligible numbers throwing passes. And then we went to Iowa State the next week, and I'm sitting there in the locker room before the game. We had 6 plays for Iowa State, and they walked in and said, Steve Shaw said you can't do that. I'm like, what? You can't do that? But they did. So it's a deception deal that I'm guessing, right, to act like I'm on the sideline. If you can pull it off, it's pretty smart. But the officials have made a point that there's 2 areas that they don't want. This is what they've said. They don't want deception to be a part of the game. And in particular on special teams, like who's on the ball, who's off the ball, all that. Because you remember when Coach Briles was at Baylor, he ran that fake punt all the time where the wing would be like halfway on the ball and not. Remember, they'd take it and then they'd throw it to him. They did it to us, and we knew it was happening. Twice we knew it was happening. I was screaming at it, and they still did it to us because we didn't know, and we coached it up. They're trying to not take deception out of the game, but obviously it works. Pretty smart on their part. They pulled it off. Now, it's supposed to be a 15-yard penalty, right? So the risk-reward, whatever. But I did not see it, but obviously it worked.
Baylor did the lonesome NDU. The same thing. Line him up on the sidelines like he's...
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
but,
Baylor did that.
yeah, but either way, I just read about it this morning drinking coffee.
Good.
Good. All right, guys. Thank you all.